My name is Honorable Dr. Sam Mayanja. I am the Minister of State for Lands. Thank you for having me. You want particularly for me to explain further on the Mengo Establishment, particularly the piece which appeared in New Vision of this week. There was a kingdom called the Kingdom of Buganda up to 1900. That kingdom was headed by a ruler called Kabaka. And that kingdom was taken over by forces within that kingdom headed by the colonialists and the Buganda chiefs. The head Buganda chief was called Kagwa, who was a Katikiro. The colonialists were headed by a man called Captain Lugard. So he joined his forces to Kagwa at the Battle of Mengo in 1892. They beat the Catholic Party, took over power, and now Kagwa came to control the kingdom. Mwanga could not tolerate this because they had retained him as Kabaka, and he headed a rebellion to Budu. That was a county called Budu. So Kagwa now, with his group, put a king to replace him. That king was a 1-year-old Daudichwa, with Kagwa himself as regent. So actually Kagwa was the Kabaka, because the 1-year-old could not rule. It was after that that Mwanga became very active in his rebellion, joining Kabalega in Lango, and a joint force now commanded by Kagwa and the acting commissioner Uganda, who was now sent by British to control Uganda. And they captured Mwanga and Kabalega. That was towards the end of 1999, around December. And after that capture, I think on 10th or so of December 1999, then Sir Harry Johnson came to Uganda to establish formally the colony of Uganda. And that's when he joined Kagwa. They signed the 1900 agreement, and Kagwa became the head of the Mengo Establishment. The Mengo Establishment was made of the Kabaka, but now it was Katikiro. The Omulanika, Omulamuzi, the Rukiko members, and the big Sajza chiefs, they all shared Uganda. The British took half, which they called the Crown Land. The ruling elite of the Mengo Establishment, that is the Kabaka, Katikiro, Mulamuzi, Omwanika, Abamasaza, the missionaries also, they shared the other half. So the Mengo Establishment now became the ruler of Buganda, jointly with the British, and Buganda was the first province of Uganda. That's what happened. So 1900 did not re-establish the Kingdom of Buganda. What it did, it set up a colonial indirect rule system headed by those selected by the colonists to work with them. A scheme which was well arranged to work for them. And those working it shared Mailo, the other half of Uganda. They shared it with the offices. Each office had an official Mailo, which if one leaves that office, we leave it for the next official. It was called official mile, that is public land. Then the rest was private Mailo, and each chief shared. That was his to do what he likes with it. So these now sat in the Rukiko controlling Buganda. So it was not the Buganda kingdom of Mwanga. This was a new establishment, a province, the first province, with an indirect rule structure, colonial structure, to help the British. Few as they were, there was no way they could control Uganda or manage. So now they used these chiefs with a bribe of Mailo, square miles given to each. And that's what it is. So now this group, this clique, controlled Uganda through Buganda for 70 years. That is, you count from 1892, that's the Battle of Mengo, which them as adherents to the Anglican religion, and Captain Lugard's maxim gun, they won. So from 1892, this establishment controlled Buganda and Uganda up to 1966, when it was overthrown by the revolution, which is now known as the either the Mengo crisis or the Buganda crisis, but the judicial authorities of Uganda, the Uganda judiciary, declared it a successful revolution, which ended the oligarchical rule of the Mengo Establishment. It was a Protestant oligarchy which controlled the Mengo Establishment and was a British instrument controlled by the British, but the black faces were the ones sitting there but executing their mandate. And each chief held Mailo, from which they were controlling the economy of this country. Because remember, at that time, the economy entirely depended on cotton growers and coffee growers. And these were the Bibanja holders sitting on the Mailo held by those who controlled the Mengo Establishment. So that is essentially what I said in that paper. But what I also indicated is that now you can't continue. What happened? There must be a recognition by those who have now rudimentary, whom have called the rudimentary Mengo Establishment. Because all those who controlled Mengo Establishment from 1892 to 1966, 2 or 3 generations died. And then there was a generation after 1966 to 1993 which didn't know anything about Mengo Establishment or Mwanga's kingdom. Because the kingdom had ended. The establishment ended in 1966 with that revolution. So 67 there was a Republican constitution. Mengo Establishment ended. The province of Uganda was divided into 4 districts. That's the district of Masaka, Mubende, East Mengo, and West Mengo. And the Mailo remained as the official Mailo, as private Mailo. The official Mailo went now to the people of Uganda under the Uganda Land Commission as public land. Also, to go to the Public Land Commission as public land was the public land which in 1962, under the Public Lands Ordinance, was converted from the Crown land, which the British was controlling. That's about 7,000 square miles. And converted into freehold land and put under the management of the Buganda Land Board under the Constitution. This was a statutory body, but some people confuse it with the current Buganda Land Board Limited, which is a private company. So you cannot now come in 1995 and say, now where is Ebyaffe? Who are you who is saying Ebyaffe? Which are these? Because you see, when the kingdom ended with the 1900 agreement, Mwanga thought the entire Buganda was his. He was defeated. That was the end. Didn't come back. He had chiefs also who believed in him. They didn't survive to say, give us Ebyaffe, because a new era had come. The group which manned the Mengo Establishment shared this land, Mailo land, and they continued with the sharing, both official, that's on their offices, and private. The official never belonged to them. It was for Masaza, for Magombolola, and for public land, public use. So when the revolution came in 1966, they remained with their private land. Nobody touched it. The 67 public constitution left it intact. And it's very clear, those who want to study legal history. The public land, which was under the official estates ordinance or act, went to Uganda Land Commission, because that unit of Sazagomba didn't exist, or unit of Waka didn't exist. The public land unit, which was the Crown land, also went to Uganda Land Commission, because that is freehold, and the Crown land was under the federal unit. Now federal unit was not there, there were districts, so it goes to Uganda Land Commission as public land. So you cannot come now and say, I want Ebyaffe. It doesn't exist. Nobody took anything from these traditional rulers. They retained with their things. Now if they come and say they want Ebyaffe, which was taken from us by the 1967 constitution, first of all, you must establish that they were taken from you. Number two, you must say that you are the successor in title to the Buganda Land Board of 1962 constitution. You must also establish that the act, the Restitution Act, is telling you to have these things as your private property. Kubanga the 1993 Act, Restitution of Property Act, confiscated from them by 1967 constitution, says we are giving these, you are going to have these properties in the same interest and same estate as was in the Uganda Land Commission. Remember, Uganda Land these things are now in the Uganda Land Commission. So you cannot say that if they were in the same interest as was in Uganda Land Commission, what does it mean? It means this is public land. Uganda Land Commission, the interest it was holding was public land. Now, if the Restitution Act of 1993 says, okay, have it in the same interest and same interest estate as was in Uganda Land Commission, that means you have public land. So for you to have it, you must have a structure which holds public land. That structure is not there. That's why you are now saying, you who have now taken, you've taken the land of the Magombolola, the Masazas. Where is the public structure which holds public land? Where is it? Doesn't exist. You have a Uganda Land Board Limited, which is a private company. The interest which should be restricted is public land interest. A private company cannot hold it. Therefore, it is all a fallacy. And they must know. And even if you say, okay, let me give it to you, what are you going to do? Who is going to inherit that public land? You are going to dismantle Uganda because under the current constitution, the public land was decentralized from Uganda Land Commission to the districts. In Uganda, we have the districts. So this public land, which had gone to to Uganda Land Commission, is now in the district of Lango, of Selira, Apache, Mubende. So if you say you are taking it away and giving it to some individuals, you are dismantling Uganda. You are dismantling the state of Uganda. And that cannot happen. So my message is this. You people who still want the Mengo Establishment, you must now, first of all, recognize that there is a Uganda which is controlling you. And that Uganda has a constitution where everybody is equal. And that you are not a successor in title of the Mengo Establishment. And that the cultural institution you have now, as set out by in the 1992 Constitution, is not a Wakabaka with the geography. Wakabaka means a kingdom with definite geographical boundaries. This is a cultural institution. A cultural institution cannot have boundaries. So this is a cultural institution, but you can no longer, you can't go on telling lies to the public that you have a Wakabaka, which some people don't want, which other people are weakening, babunafuya, kweyagaliza byabwe. No, that's not true. That's telling lies to the public. The public, and I'm urging also the public to read the Constitution and the laws emanating from it, so that they don't get deceived that now there is another power other than the power of the state of Uganda to which people must give allegiance. Now, if you say, for example, that the Baganda must unite in obedience to their cultural ruler, remember, there are 37 gazetted cultural rulers in this country. So let the Lugard also unite in support of their Lugard cultural institution. The Bamasaba unite. So where is Uganda? So we have dismantled our state. And there's no, when you're a cultural leader, there's no need for you to campaign for the unity of the people. You are a cultural leader, you are born that. And the Constitution says those who want to allegiance can say a constitutional right. I can say, well, I recognize you are a cultural leader of my tribe, but I obey no allegiance. You have a right under the kingdom, under the Constitution. So saying that waliwo abaagala okunafuya cultural institution, waliwo abeeyagaliza, waliwo aboogera okweyagaliza, that is idle talk. And that's my message.